LokAL demon. Belly down the LokAL demon. Belly down, LokAL demon. Belly down the LokAL demon. Belly down, belly down, belly down, belly down. Maybe I should go to sleep. Maybe I should go to sleep. See my baby, she was in a nightgown. When I went to see my baby, she was on the ground. There was something in her eyes, something I could sense. There was something in her eyes, something that was missing. Singing in her sleep and she was looking at me. She was singing in her sleep and she was singing sadly. There was something in her voice, something I was sensing. There was something in her voice, something that was missing. Pity opened up my heart and pity recognized her. Pity opened up my heart and nothing could disguise her. She had sealed herself inside a body she could sleep in. She had sealed herself inside and nobody could see in. Opened up my heart and pity recognized her. Pity opened up my heart and nothing could disguise her. Love is just a little lamb looking for a hunk of ham. Love is just a little lamb looking for a hunk of ham. Love, 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 love. Hi, everybody. Hi, It's me, Randy, singer for the Residents. And over here, we have my good friend Chuck on keyboards. And over there is Bob on guitar. Now, I'm sure all of our longtime fans out there remember there were always 4 of us. Well, I'm sorry to say that Carlos has retired. Bummer. After almost 40 years in the music business, Carlos decided that the rock and roll lifestyle is just not for him. So Carlos went back to Mexico, and he's taking care of his mom now. But we miss you, buddy. We miss you. He's still in our hearts. Vaya con Dios, mi amigo. Okay, so now, we wanted to invite all of you people into our little living room here so that we could play a few songs for you and tell you a few stories. Now, some of these stories are kind of spooky. So, get ready. Here is the first one. It's called The Talking Light.
Uh-oh. Catch it. Uh-oh. Catch it. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Lost in a light. Lost in a light.
Once, when I was a lonely teenager.
Lost in a lack
Once, when I was a
of
lonely teenager. Once, when I was a lonely teenager. I was out walking by myself and wandered into an unfamiliar area. The land was badly eroded, and as I looked up a small ravine, I saw a little cottage that appeared to be deserted. I noticed a weathered piece of paper stuck to the door and became curious as to what it said. In large, shaking letters were the following words: "If you find my baby inside, please bury him." Startled, I took the note off the door and continued to read.
cannot stay here no more. Something has my baby in that house, and I can't get him back. There's light. A light is surrounding my baby. And every time I try to stick my hand in and touch him, it burns me. But it don't seem to be hurting him none. And there's a voice is coming out of the light, and it says, find the ring, find the ring. I searched all over that house. I ripped up the floorboards and I tore down the wallpaper, but I can't find no ring anywhere. And now I am so tired. I don't know what to do except go and look for help, but I might not be able to make it back to my poor baby. Dear God, I think somehow you wound up in hell. And I get the feeling it must be my baby's fault. But I don't know what he's done to deserve this.
Once, when I was a lonely teenager, once when I was a lonely teenager, once when I was a lonely teenager.
Once, when I was a lonely teenager. Except for a small area around the baby bassinet in the center of the room, the interior of the shack was total chaos. After working my way through the jumble of broken furniture, loose floorboards, and other rubble, I finally reached the side of the oddly spotless and pristine bassinet, covered by a clean white blanket. Filled with apprehension, I removed the cover, revealing the perfectly formed skeleton of a baby, clutching a wedding ring in its right hand.
Lost in a light. Lost in a light. Lost in a light. Lost in a light. Lost, 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 lost.
After scratching a shallow hole in the dry dirt of the ravine, I was about to dump the pitiful basket of bones into it when I noticed some words engraved on the ring. Deeply disturbed but compelled to continue, I brought the ring closer to my eyes and made out the words, "A mother's love erases rages. A mother's rage erases." But the rest was scratched out. Overwhelmed by feelings of fear, disgust, and confusion, I threw the ring and the baby skeleton into the hole. I quickly covered them with dirt and ran home. No one has ever believed my story. I've tried to convince myself that it must have been a dream induced by the instability of adolescence.
Lost in a lie. Lost in a lie. Lost in a lie. Lost in a lie. Lost in a lie.
And now it's so sore. 6 more miles and leave my darling never on this earth to to the graveyard. 6 more miles along and sad. 6 more miles to the graveyard. I'll be the best friend I ever had. 6 more miles and leave my darling. I'll leave the best friend I ever had. I don't know about you, but I believe in ghosts. It's true. It's true. They've always been there my whole life. Under the beds and way back in the back of the closets. There was this guy. It was a guy named Red. He was a construction worker that I knew when we worked on a 12-story building. And one day, all of a sudden, beep, blah, Red fell off the building. And I found his body all rearranged in a weird kind of a way. And after that, whenever I went up somewhere really high, like the top of the Empire State Building or the Dubai Tower, Red would suddenly appear. And he would talk to me in this really sweet, soothing voice and try to get me to jump. And then there was another time. There was another time when I was stuck in quicksand in Crossett, Arkansas, in this big, giant, glowing ball just came down right on top of my head. And inside of that big ball, it was just full of bugs and worms and snakes and the cut off head of a train conductor. It was really weird in there. But worst of all are the mirror people. The mirror people. I'll tell you more about them later. I was lifted up high to a wall in the sky where God told me to dig. I found figures of birds. He put his butchers to work with a competent clerk, executing those who had abandoned the truth. Then four faces appeared around the sides of the sphere, spinning over a throne made of amber and bone. The ball was covered with eyes. And as it started to rise, God commanded the clerk to take me back to the dirt. It said he was coming to eat my cousins who were his. Come and see the Holy Twosome. They can heal and they can do some things that no one ever did before. Silently I stood between them, holding up the crimson gleaming circle, with the seams not quite in line. Then I lifted up the cover softly like it was my love, and I felt them shudder as they sighed. Or as I clamped the metal on it, something like a liquid donut shimmered by the holy inside. Then the people screamed and shouted as the donut grew and sprouted, little bitty dust balls made of fire. Daddy enjoyed me to sing it down, the lines had finally ended at the screams and unbelieving cries. For soon the cripples would be walking and the dummies would be talking. But no one knew exactly how or why. Far out, borrow, check it out, borrow, 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 check it out. Oh, check it out, check it out, check it out, borrow, check it out, borrow. Oh, check it out, 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 borrow. Oh, check it out, borrow, check it out, borrow, check it out, borrow. Oh, check it out, check it out, check it out. Oh, check it out, check it out, borrow. Oh, check it out, check it out, borrow. Oh, check it out, check it out, check it out. Oh, check it out, check it out, check it out. Oh, check it out, oh, check it out. Bow, 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 borrow, 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 check it out, The mirror people. The mirror people. I always knew about the mirror people, but, you know, it wasn't really a problem until one day, not too long ago, I was in my bathroom shaving, and the room was all steamed up, and the mirror was foggy. And all of a sudden, I heard this voice. And it said, "Hi, Randy. Hi, Randy. I want you." I said, "Pardon me." And I looked around, but nobody was in the room. I knew who it was. I knew who it was. I walked right up to that mirror, and I reached out, and I wiped it off, and there he was, staring at me.
It's only been 2 weeks since Howard died, so I guess I should be destroyed, a miserable wretch, shattered and scattered like the shards of a discarded whiskey bottle hitting the pavement. But I'm not. I'm not, you see, because nothing could be worse than watching him die. Nothing could be worse than watching a life you loved slowly sucked away like a spider draining the brain of a fly. But then, he came back. Maybe it was only a dream, but he's been in every dream I've had since he died. And so what, I say? Who needs reality filled with grief when love lives in your dreams? In the past, dreams faded quickly, but since Howard died, they're like permanent movies living inside my mind. Every second of every dream is alive, and it's mine whenever I want it. The first night was like a lamp lit in the blindness of a black and empty room. The flame of the lamp grew brighter and brighter until the room disappeared, replaced by his face, shining like the center of the sun. Arms emerged from each cheek, opening wide in an obvious invitation to the space between his large and blood-red lips. I freely fell into the opening and, once inside, easily embraced his heart. It was stuck to the top of his torso, where the nape of his neck might have been, and then it linked me with love and with laughter and made my mind twinkle and grin. The dream flowed on in its own loose and liquid way, filling my mind with a warmly glowing wetness that always equaled the essence of Howard. Rachel, my best friend, was waking me for Howard's funeral. I had slept for 18 hours. The heaviness of grief saturating the service was more than I could bear. But I had to bear it. It didn't matter how many times I broke down or how many condolences left the lips of family and friends. It never got any better. But somehow it managed to get worse. Just as the service was ending, I tripped at the edge of the dirt pile waiting to fill Howard's hole. And as I tripped, I bumped into Howard's mother, causing both of us to fall into the open grave, giving the grieving woman a perfect release for the venom and rage consuming her soul. As my friends and family looked on, my dead husband's mother hit me 14 times with her purse before I fainted into the waiting arms of my beloved. life continued on like that for the next 2 weeks as I slept a little longer and dreamed a little more each day. I made it 23 and a half hours yesterday, and now, with Howard's support, I think I'm ready. The doctors say it's medically impossible for a healthy person to sleep 24 hours a day, but Howard and I don't think so, and that's all that really matters.
Shining on the sea, reflecting from the flying fishes, wishing she could be a little piece of sand that blows above the ocean's breeze. But all she has is thoughts of all those figures peeling seeds and leaving them to mold among the women watching weeds.
said a little dead was dead. I read in a letter today. The same for Monica's monkey, she said. Quietly it slipped away. Black and his beak was brown. Mr. Cuckoo has fallen asleep, and soon his home will be underground. Mr. Cuckoo has fallen asleep.
The mirror people. The mirror people. They have their rules, you know. The mirror people, they have their rules. If you walk into a room and you look straight in the mirror, they never talk. They never talk then. And if somebody else is in the room with you, they never talk then either. But they're there. They're there. They are there. They want you. They want you. They want to become you. My ex-wife, Bonnie. She's one. She's one. That's why I started sleeping in the garage. Once, when I was a kid, I went into a barbershop. I guess you can tell. I don't go in those places anymore. I hate them. But when I was a kid, I went into this barbershop and I sat down in this big chair and I looked all around. And all those mirrors, and I got so scared, I just jumped. And it made the barber stab himself in the cheek with his scissors. After that, my mom always cut my hair. Unseen sister objects. The unseen sister protects. The unseen sister expected nothing from life, and so she
When I was very young, I had a twin sister that no one could see but me. We lived in a farm without any neighbors, so she was my constant companion. But for some reason, she'd like to play tricks on my mother. These tricks were often mean, and even though I didn't, I usually got the blame, I was unable to stop myself from helping her. Once we were playing under the kitchen table where my mother was sitting shelling peas. I grabbed her leg and said I wanted to play horsey as my sister placed a loop of clothesline around her ankle. Mother said no, and then she got up from the table, walked 2 steps, and tripped as she reached the end of the rope. As my mother fell, she knocked a boiling pot off the stove. It fell on her head. Even though it was July, she was cooking pasta in the shape of little green Christmas trees because it was my favorite. Mother's face was no more than 6 inches from mine as she screamed, jerked away the pot, and revealed her red, bubbling face covered with little green Christmas trees. Mother was dead when I woke up. Several years later, my father said that she had become tangled in the cord of a toaster and electrocuted herself as she stumbled around the room, screaming in pain. I goldfish that died one time too.
The unseen sister objects. The unseen sister protects. The unseen sister expected nothing from life, and so she passed from The mirror people. The mirror people, the mirror people, the mirror people! Okay, I know. This mirror people stuff sounds pretty weird. You probably you probably think I'm crazy. Okay, all right. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you. Right now. Get ready. Get ready. It's a mirror. It's a mirror. Mirror on the front. Mirror on the back. Okay, so get ready. I think you're probably okay out there, but I'm right here. And I'm going to look in this mirror. So get ready. Get ready. Hi, I'm Randy. Hard rockin' Randy, singer for the residents. And over here, we have my good buddy Chuck on keyboard. And there is the fabulous Bob on guitar. Fuck Carlos. The guy was an asshole. Okay, all right, so now, we have a couple of more songs for you. This next one, it's about a dear, sweet little old lady.
Answer my prayer. Answer my prayer tonight. Tell me if anyone cares if I do what I might. Angel, answer my prayer and tell me if anyone else knows how much I am scared I might murder myself. My plans. If I do it, who will take care of my plans? Maybe Martha. She sent me a card on Mother's Day, and she has a philodendron and a few ferns. They look terrible though, just like her house. She never dusts her leaves. What about Berta? Berta's been married 3 times. How could she possibly take care of orchids? And if I do it, how long would it be before they notice? Weeks, months. And all that time, my poor orchids being eaten by those aphids. I know why they ignore me. It was a long time ago, but they still hold it against me. He was old, the poor thing. He could barely hop around anymore. Somebody had to do it. Somebody had to.
Like a face in a flashlight with teeth in my back. Like dice rolling snake eyes in headlights at night. Like a corpse in the sunshine, our eyes in a fight. There's a spot. There's a spot. There's a spot on my glove. No. No. Maybe it was make 'em runny. Make 'em runny, honey. Darlies. Darlies. Where have all the darlies gone? Roses will wither and die, along with the lace and the lines. Nothing is nicer than death, and matching the bad and the best. He hated me. He hated me. And hate is hot. And hate is right. I might even have to stain for him. Not even a stain on a really looked up to. Lacking all respect for him, I'm blacking out the specks of decent thoughts that linger in me. Leaving all alone. Why? Calm, peaceful white swans, silently flying through the snow, looking down at the bleached bones of a noble knight who wanted to save his lady, his lovely lady. She tried to bring her man milk in the moonlight, but it was too late. It was too late. He said, not on the lone prairie. These words came slow and mournfully from the bleeding lips of a youth who lay on his dying bed at the close of day. Darkness hovered around his head as the shadows of death grew thick like lead. He thought of his home and his family that night as the cowboys gathered to watch him die. Bury me not on the lone prairie where the wild coyotes howl over me. I in a narrow grave just 6x3. Oh, bury me not on the lone prairie.
the well-known words of the wild green winds and the songs of birds. I think of the table where my mama put flowers and the seeds alone in those long lost hours. I've always wished to live when I die in the little churchyard on the green hillside by my mama's grave. Please let my name and bury me not on the Lord's prairie. Bury me not. And his voice stopped there. But we took no heed of his dying prayer. In a narrow grave, just 6x3, we buried him there on the lone prairie. What did they do? What did they do? What did they do? Don't do it. What did they do? What can they do? What did they do? They don't know what to do. 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 Don't know what to say today. There's no going back. No going back. No going back today. No. No going back. No going back. No going back today. So what can they do? What can they do? What can they do? What can they do? What can they do to do? Die, people! Today! Die, people! Die if they stay. Die if they go. That's it. Die if they go. Die if they stay. Die. Die.
It's a full moon and the city swarming with ghosts. Citizens are advised to keep indoors and control music. Allegedly, full moon works best.